comes a moment in life when all the noise around you quiets down. The opinions, the expectations, the roles you've been playing, they all fade into the background. And in that silence, a gentle question rises. Those words might sound simple, but their truth runs deep. Pain is a way of convincing us that it defines who we are. When we've been hurt again and again, it's easy to begin seeing ourselves as the wound rather than the one carrying it. We become identified with the suffering, wearing it like a second skin. But let me remind you gently, you are not your pain. You are not the betrayal. You are not the abandonment. You are not the rejection. These are things that happen to you, but they are not the essence of who you are. Pain is real. It visits each of us in different forms. The loss of a loved one, the shattering of a dream, the sting of unkind words, the ache of being unseen. And sometimes the pain isn't even caused by dramatic events. Sometimes it's the quiet daily erosion of our joy, the silent grief of never being fully accepted, the exhaustion of always pretending to be okay. When we go through these experiences, our minds try to make sense of them. We begin to form stories. I'm not lovable. I'm a failure. I'm not enough. These beliefs begin to stick. We repeat them silently and subconsciously until they become a part of the identity we carry. Before long, we're no longer seeing the world as it is. We're seeing it through the lens of our pain. And worse, we start seeing ourselves only through the lens of what we've suffered. But the truth is, your soul is so much bigger than any experience you've endured. There is a core within you that has never been touched by trauma, a deep, unshakable part of you that has always been whole. The pain may have shaped your journey, but it is not your identity. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become because of it. You are the love you give in spite of it. You are the strength that kept you standing. You are the forgiveness that set you free. You are the wisdom born from the fire. You are the quiet hope that refused to die. Many of us have carried pain for so long that it feels like home. We mistake its heaviness for reality. But healing begins when you decide to loosen your grip on that pain. You don't have to forget what happened. You don't have to pretend it didn't hurt. But you can stop letting it define every part of your life. You can gently tell yourself, this happened, yes, but I am still here. I still have breath in my lungs. I still have love to give. I still have beauty within me. When you separate who you are from what you've endured, you make space for transformation. You begin to open up to joy again, to peace, to laughter that feels real. You allow new experiences to enter, ones that reflect the truth of your being, not the wounds of your past. You learn to treat yourself with tenderness, with care, with the same compassion you would offer a child who's been hurt. Healing is not about erasing the past. It's about honoring your journey without being imprisoned by it. It's about learning how to sit with your pain without becoming it, to feel deeply but not drown, to cry but still believe in tomorrow, and to finally say, this pain is something I experienced, but it is not who I am. When you say those words over and over, something begins to shift. A light flickers on inside you. You start to remember the parts of you that existed before the pain, the joyful child, the dreamer, the believer, the part of you that sings to music no one else hears, that still believes in love, that still hopes, still reaches, still trusts. That part never left. It only got buried beneath the weight of life's disappointments. Now it's time to return to yourself. Not the wounded self, but the original you. The radiant being who came into this world whole, full of possibility, overflowing with light. You are allowed to reclaim that version of yourself. You are allowed to be more than your sadness, more than your scars, more than your memories. You are allowed to heal. So when the pain rises again, as it sometimes will, hold it gently, but remind yourself, this is not who I am. This is a wave, and I am the ocean. You are not here to be trapped in endless suffering. You are here to awaken, to rise, to evolve, and to shine. You are not your pain. You are love. You are light. You are life itself, and nothing can take that from you. Your worth isn't measured by approval, not by the applause of a crowd, not by the number of likes, and certainly not by the acceptance or rejection of others. Your worth is not something that needs to be validated or confirmed by anyone else. It exists whole and intact from the moment you take your first breath. It is not a currency that others get to assign value to. It is your divine inheritance, eternal, unshakable, and sacred. From the time we are very young, we are taught to seek approval. Be a good child, follow the rules, get the gold stars, make your parents proud. We learn early that affection and praise often follow performance. And so we begin to measure our value based on how others respond to us. If they're happy with us, we feel good. If they're disappointed or distant, we shrink and wonder what's wrong with us. This pattern doesn't disappear as we grow older, it just shifts. We chase approval in new ways, through relationships, achievements, job titles, beauty, popularity. We mold ourselves into what we think will be accepted, even if it means losing pieces of our authentic selves. We tolerate what hurts, we shrink what shines, we silence what's true, all in the name of fitting in, being liked, or finally hearing someone say, "You're enough." But the truth is, no amount of external approval can fill the space inside you that's waiting for your own acceptance. No one else's opinion can substitute for your own self-worth. It's not their job to define you, it's yours. Imagine if flowers only bloomed when they were praised, if the sun only rose when someone clapped, if the ocean only danced when someone was watching. The natural world doesn't ask for approval to be beautiful, it simply is. And so are you. You are not here to earn your value. You are here to remember it. You are not here to win affection by dimming your light. You are here to radiate the truth of who you are, boldly and without apology. Your worth is not increased by someone's praise, nor is it diminished by their judgment. Other people are mirrors, not makers of your worth. The moment you stop outsourcing your value to others is the moment you begin to reclaim your power. You stop living on emotional roller coasters, rising and falling with someone else's mood or opinion. You start choosing what feels aligned, not what gains approval. You speak your truth, even if your voice shakes. You walk away from what dishonors your soul, even if others don't understand. You begin to live for something higher than approval. You begin to live for authenticity. Authenticity is a kind of freedom that no praise can replace. When you are true to yourself, you stop being a puppet on strings pulled by other people's expectations. You start feeling peace. Not because everyone agrees with you, but because you agree with yourself. It's okay if not everyone understands your choices. It's okay if they don't clap when you rise. The most powerful moments in your life may not come with applause. They come with quiet certainty. They come when you decide that your inner peace matters more than outside validation. They come when you look in the mirror and whisper, even if no one else sees it, "I know I am enough." You'll find that when you stop needing approval, you attract more authentic love. You stop trying to impress people and start connecting with those who see and value the real you. You no longer perform, you simply live. And in that space, your soul expands. It is brave to love yourself in a world that profits from your self-doubt. It is brave to believe in your worth when others try to define it. But every time you choose to trust your own voice over the noise, you step into a deeper kind of power, one that no one can take away. You are not here to beg for validation. You are here to embody your truth. You are not a project waiting to be approved. You are a masterpiece already complete. You are not someone who needs to hustle for acceptance. You are someone who deserves to be embraced exactly as you are. So let go of the need to be liked, understood, or validated by everyone. You were not born to be universally approved. You were born to be real, to be whole, and to be you. And that, dear soul, is more than enough. You are the only one who truly needs to believe in your worth. Let that belief become your foundation. Let it be the place you return to over and over, especially when the world gets loud. No one else gets to define your value. That power belongs to you and you alone. The power to define yourself is yours and no one else's. This is one of the greatest truths you will ever come to understand. From the moment you were born, the world began whispering in your ear who you should be, how you should act, what you should want, what success looks like, and how far you're allowed to go. But those voices were not your own. They were echoes of other people's fears, limitations, traditions, and expectations. And somewhere along the way, you may have forgotten that you hold the pen. You are the author of your life. You always have been. It is so easy to fall into the roles that others have created for us. We wear the labels handed to us: the quiet one, the troublemaker, the too emotional, the not enough, the too much. We try to squeeze ourselves into boxes to be accepted, to be loved, to avoid judgment or conflict. But every time we abandon our truth to meet someone else's image of who we should be, we drift a little further from our soul. There is a moment, sometimes quiet, sometimes explosive, when we wake up. A moment when we look around and realize that the life we've been living doesn't reflect who we truly are. Maybe it's a job that drains us, a relationship that dims our light, a habit of silencing our voice just to keep the peace. That awakening might come through heartbreak, burnout, or a deep sense of emptiness. But in that moment, there's a gift. The realization that you don't have to keep pretending. You get to define who you are. You get to decide what matters to you, what you believe, how you speak, how you love, and what you will or will not accept. You do not need permission. You do not need validation. All you need is a willingness to come home to yourself. And coming home to yourself may feel unfamiliar at first. If you've spent years living to please others, you may feel unsure of what your own voice even sounds like. But it's still there. Beneath the noise, beneath the conditioning, beneath the shoulds and shouldn'ts, your soul still remembers. It speaks in feelings, in nudges, in the quiet ache for something more. It calls you to remember who you were before the world told you who to be. Defining yourself is not about being perfect or always having it figured out. It's about aligning with what is real for you. It's choosing honesty over hiding. It's daring to speak the truth even when your voice trembles. It's standing in your power even when others try to shrink you. It's trusting that your path may look different, and that's okay. There will always be people who don't understand the new version of you, people who are more comfortable with the mask you used to wear. They may resist your growth, question your choices, or try to pull you back into the old story. But remember this, you are not here to live someone else's life. You are not here to be easily categorized or explained. You are here to be deeply, wildly, beautifully yourself. And as you begin to define yourself on your own terms, you'll notice something miraculous. The world begins to reflect back that authenticity. You start to attract relationships that honor who you are, work that aligns with your values, and experiences that nourish your spirit. Life begins to feel more like yours, not something you're just surviving, but something you're consciously creating. This doesn't mean the journey is always easy. There will be moments of doubt, fear, and resistance, but those are just signs that you're stepping into your power. Keep going. Keep listening inward. Keep choosing what feels true, even if it doesn't make sense to others. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to rewrite your story again and again. You don't have to explain your healing. You don't have to justify your growth. You are not obligated to remain the same version of yourself just because others are more comfortable with your past. The power to define yourself is the power to be free, not just externally, but within. It is the power to take ownership of your life, to release the weight of shame, to forgive yourself, to dream new dreams, to step into your light. So take that power back, gently, boldly, lovingly. Remind yourself each day, I am not who others say I am. I am who I choose to become. Let that be your mantra. Let that be your anchor. You were never meant to fit into a mold. You were meant to break it. You were meant to rise. You were meant to shine in your own unique way. And the world needs that version of you. The one you define. The one you decide. The one that feels like truth. No more waiting. No more hiding. No more apologizing for being yourself. This is your life, your journey, your truth. And the power to define it has always been yours. In the middle of all the noise, the opinions, the expectations, the distractions, there is a quiet voice inside you. It does not shout. It doesn't force or demand. It waits patiently, gently, lovingly. It is always there, even when you've stopped listening. Even when the world becomes too loud and your thoughts too heavy, it continues to whisper. And when you finally become still enough, soft enough, present enough, you hear it. That whisper is your inner truth. It's your soul trying to guide you back to yourself. It knows who you are. It remembers the dreams you forgot, the strength you buried, the joy you dismissed, and the love you stopped believing you deserved. It is not interested in impressing anyone. It does not care about rules you were taught to follow, roles you were expected to play, or masks you've been wearing to survive. It only cares about what's real, about what sets you free. For so long we've been trained to look outward. We search for answers in books, in people, in systems, in validation. We scroll, compare, consume. We think if we just find the right advice or follow the right path, we'll finally feel whole. But what if the answers aren't out there? What if they've always been inside, softly whispering, this is who you are. This is where your peace lives. This is the next step. The whisper within often doesn't make logical sense. It's not always comfortable or predictable. It might tell you to walk away from something others admire. It might lead you to rest when the world tells you to hustle. It might nudge you toward love when your fear tells you to run. It might ask you to trust in timing when you want immediate answers, but always, always, it is guiding you home. To hear it, you must create space. Silence isn't empty, it's full of wisdom if you're willing to sit with it. Take moments each day to disconnect from the outer world and reconnect with your inner one. Breathe deeply. Place your hand over your heart. Ask yourself, what do I need to hear right now? Then listen. Not with your mind, but with your spirit. The answer may not come in words. It might arrive as a feeling, a knowing, a sense of peace or unease. Trust it. The whisper doesn't lie. Sometimes we ignore the whisper because we're afraid of what it will say. We sense the truth, but we resist it. Maybe it's telling you to leave something you've outgrown. Maybe it's calling you to take a leap. Maybe it's reminding you of a dream you gave up on. But ignoring the whisper doesn't make it go away. It just makes life feel heavier. Because the longer we abandon our inner truth, the more disconnected and restless we become. Our bodies begin to carry the tension of unspoken truth. Our hearts feel the ache of a life not aligned with who we really are. But the beautiful thing is, it's never too late to listen. Your inner wisdom doesn't punish, it waits, it forgives. It always welcomes you back. Even if you've made choices that silenced your truth, even if you've lost your way, even if you've doubted yourself for years, the whisper is still there, ready to guide you again. You may wonder, how do I know it's the whisper of my soul and not the fear in my mind? The whisper speaks from love, not lack. It calms rather than panics. It expands you rather than shrinks you. It feels like alignment even when it's uncertain. Fear is loud, urgent, and often rooted in past wounds. Your inner voice is quiet, patient, and rooted in love. The more you practice listening, the more clearly you'll tell the difference. You don't have to change your life overnight. You don't have to have everything figured out. All you need is to take one small step in the direction your soul is guiding you. And then another, and then another. Each time you follow that whisper, even in small ways, you build trust. You begin to live a life that reflects who you truly are, not who you were taught to be. You were never meant to live by everyone else's script. You were never meant to silence your truth for acceptance. You were never meant to push through when your soul is asking you to pause. You were meant to live guided, not by noise, but by knowing, not by pressure, but by presence, not by fear, but by the whisper within. So come back to yourself. Sit in the quiet. Listen with your heart. The whisper is still there. It always has been. And it's ready now more than ever to lead you home. Forgive the old you. The version of yourself that didn't know better. The one who stayed too long in places that hurt. The one who tolerated less than they deserved. The one who clung to people not because they were right, but because they were familiar. The one who gave and gave, thinking that love had to be earned. The one who was scared to speak up, afraid to be seen, unsure of their worth. That version of you was doing the best they could with what they knew at the time. It's so easy to look back and judge yourself through the eyes of who you are now, to criticize the choices you made, the red flags you ignored, the dreams you abandoned, the moments you betrayed your own needs just to feel loved, wanted, or safe. But judgment only deepens the wound. What you truly need is compassion, not just for others, but for yourself, especially for the self you used to be. There is no growth without missteps. There is no becoming without a process. Who you are now, wiser, stronger, softer, more aware, exists because of the path you walked, even the painful parts, even the messy, confusing, disappointing parts. Growth does not come from perfection. It comes from falling and learning how to rise with grace. And every version of you that came before this moment carried you forward. You don't need to shame the old you. You need to understand them. They were acting from wounds you were just beginning to recognize. They were surviving. They were seeking love the only way they knew how. They were holding on even when they didn't have the tools to let go. And that takes courage, even if the outcome wasn't what you hoped. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean pretending everything was okay. It means choosing not to carry the weight of blame any longer. It means loosening the grip on the guilt that keeps you stuck in cycles of self-doubt. It means saying to yourself, I did what I could. I made mistakes. I learned, and now I choose to heal. There may be moments that still bring a wave of shame, a decision you regret, words you wish you hadn't said, love you gave to someone who didn't value it. When those memories arise, don't turn away. Sit with them, breathe through them, and gently speak to yourself like someone you love. That was me then. This is me now. I release the need to punish myself for being human. You don't have to keep replaying the past like a movie that never ends. You don't have to keep apologizing to yourself for things you've already outgrown. You are allowed to move on. You are allowed to outgrow your own story. You are allowed to choose peace, even if you once lived in chaos. Forgiving the old you is one of the most powerful acts of self-love you will ever practice. Because when you release the old version of yourself from judgment, you free up space for your true self to rise. The self that is kind to your body, the self that speaks with intention, the self that values time, energy, truth, the self that no longer performs to be accepted, but simply exists in wholeness. That self is already within you, waiting for permission to fully take form. You don't have to be perfect to be at peace. You don't have to have all the answers to start again. All you need is the willingness to stop fighting yourself. The old you deserves a soft place to rest, not more punishment, not more rejection, not more shame, just love, just understanding, just the words, I forgive you. You are doing your best. Let your past self be the roots, not the chains. Let your memories be teachers, not prisons. Let your story be proof of resilience, not a reason to hide. You have already survived so much. You have already changed in ways others may never even know. That deserves honor, not guilt. That deserves grace. So today, when you feel the urge to criticize the old you, pause. Place your hand over your heart, close your eyes, and speak gently within. I see you. I thank you. I release you. You helped me get here. Now I choose to grow in love, not in pain. That is where healing begins. That is where true transformation starts. Not in resistance to who you were, but in loving acceptance of every step that brought you here. You are not the old you. But without them, you wouldn't be this you. And this version of you, they are worthy, they are wise, and they are ready. Every breath you take is a quiet declaration that life is flowing through you, choosing you, sustaining you. You may not always feel like a miracle. There are days when you feel tired, unnoticed, broken, or behind. But those feelings do not take away from the truth. The truth is, you are a living, breathing testament to the power of survival, growth, and infinite possibility. Nothing about your existence is an accident. Nothing about your presence is ordinary. From the cells in your body to the thoughts in your mind, you are a work of sacred intelligence. Your heartbeat is not something you control. It beats on its own, with perfect rhythm, reminding you that something greater is always guiding you. Your eyes see beauty. Your hands create comfort and heal. Your voice speaks words that can lift, transform, and connect. Your soul carries a light that is uniquely yours, a light that has never existed before and will never exist again in quite the same way. You are a miracle not because you are flawless, but because you are real. Because you've been through pain and still choose to love. Because you've been knocked down and still find the strength to rise. Because you've doubted yourself and yet continue to move forward. You've grown in silence, you've healed in private, you've hoped in moments when the world told you not to. That is a miracle. That is motion. That is life choosing to express itself through you. There may be times when you forget this truth, times when you compare yourself to others and feel small, when you judge yourself by what you haven't achieved yet or how far you think you need to go. But the measure of your worth isn't in numbers or titles or the approval of others. The measure of your worth is that you are here, right now, living, evolving, expanding. That is more than enough. Life doesn't demand perfection from you. It invites presence. It invites honesty. It invites a willingness to keep showing up. Some days you bloom, other days you just breathe, and both are equally important. Growth is not always visible. Sometimes it happens beneath the surface, in the quiet decision to keep going, in the brave moment when you choose not to give up on yourself. You don't have to be at the peak of your journey to be powerful. You don't need to wait until everything is perfect to see the beauty of where you are now. This moment, with all its imperfections, is sacred. You are becoming. You are unfolding. You are learning how to love yourself in deeper, more honest ways. That's what makes you a miracle in motion, not because you've arrived, but because you are on your way. The path you walk may not always be easy, but it is meaningful. Every experience, every emotion, every lesson is shaping you into someone more aligned with your soul. Even the pain has purpose. Even the waiting carries wisdom. Even the uncertainty holds space for your growth. There is a divine rhythm to it all. Even if you can't always hear it, trust that you are exactly where you are meant to be, becoming exactly who you are meant to become. You are not broken, you are not too late, you are not behind. You are unfolding in perfect time. Just like the seasons, you are cycling through your own chapters, each one necessary, each one preparing you for the next. You are shedding old layers, breaking limiting beliefs, releasing outdated versions of yourself. And in doing so, you're making room for something more beautiful than you can yet imagine. If ever you doubt your value, return to your breath. Feel it enter and leave your body. That breath is life affirming you. That breath is proof that something within you wants to keep going. And that is enough. You are a miracle because you are the only one who has your voice, your experiences, your heart, your energy. No one else can replace you. No one else can contribute to this world in quite the way you can. Even on your quietest days, your presence makes a difference. Even in your struggles, your journey has meaning. So let yourself be seen, let yourself be loved, especially by yourself. Speak gently to your heart. Be patient with your path. Celebrate how far you've come, even if no one else notices. The universe notices, your soul notices. And I hope from this moment on, you begin to notice too. You are a miracle in motion. Not because life is perfect, but because you keep choosing to live it. And that choice, over and over again, is where your true power lies.